Hi, Robin with Oxy-Dry, and today I'm messing around in the garage for a little bit, and I wanted to show you an interesting vacuum which I've had sitting in the back corner, and I actually originally bought this around 10 years or so ago, maybe even longer actually, at a garage sale. Paid $5 for it, and I figured it was okay to risk that $5 because I did figure out that it did work, but I had some issues. But anyway, finally I got around to messing around with it, and I put a new brush roll on it, and the motor checked out good. Carbon brushes are in great shape. I had replaced the bag assembly, and I put this Sanitaire bag on. It turns out it just screwed in place just like the original dirt cup that it had on it, but this is the Sanitaire version of it, and it works fine. So I'll turn it on and I'll let you hear it, and hopefully in the next little while I'll have a commercial job where I'll be using it and I'll be able to show it in action. But for now, we'll just run it on this bit of carpet I have here. It has a lot of power, this vacuum, and in fact, when I'm using it, the brush roll digs in so well that it actually will kind of pull the vacuum forward a little bit, so it's actually really easy to move it back and forth. But anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit about these three vacuums and compare them. And as you can see, I have three very similar vacuums, and yet they're three different vacuums. This is the Proteam vacuum and the Hoover Tone, and of course the Cibo Automatic X8. And I used one of these, the Proteam vacuum, for about 10 years or so. A very good vacuum. My original vacuum when I started 28 years ago was a very early version of this made by Electrolux, which was basically the exact same design, but the original version didn't have this hose here. It had just a cap on top here with a little hole where you could put a hose, but it didn't have the hose arrangement like this. It was a little more awkward and clumsy, but it did work. And then eventually, I think it was Sanitaire bought out Electrolux, and then they did an upgrade to putting this hose arrangement on, and all the rest is history, because this is a very well-known vacuum, and they work really well. But they do have some drawbacks, which I'll get to in a sec. But it has a two-motor system, whereas opposed to these, both of these vacuums have a single motor system. Back when this first came out, this was really quite an advancement over most vacuums back then were the direct air type like this one. Hang on a second. What have you got? Anyway, she's quite a little character, that little girl. Anyway, the Proteam vacuum is really better suited for commercial type carpeting because it doesn't have any adjustment for the height. It tends to float along on the top of the carpet. When you get into a heavier plush carpet, it isn't going to have the ability to really, well, you can adjust it up and down, it just floats along, so that is a drawback. It's not that it's terrible, it's just kind of compromises a little bit. And one of the things about it, is I'll show you, is on the bottom plate. The bottom plate has all these slots on here, and that's because it's designed mostly to go on a lower pile carpet, and these slots will allow sand and grit and whatever to come into the airflow and get picked up by the vacuum. So that's designed really more for a commercial type application. It'll work on a residential carpet, but that is one of the things to bear in mind with these vacuums. The other thing is that the way this is designed, the air comes right in the center here and goes up into the body and up into the top and then down the hose, and actually it goes up the right side and then down into the vacuum bag. And this right in here, it kind of narrows and then does a 90-degree turn and goes up. And they're prone to clog in there, particularly if you pick up a little, like a toothpick or something like that, and it gets stuck in there and then it starts collecting carpet fibers and everything, and then you end up with a clog right in the bottom here. It can be a real pain in the butt to get at it and clean it out. I would actually carry a little metal rod that I could stick down in there to deal with that. And the other thing is that when you do need to open this thing up to clean it, you actually have about 6 or 8 screws that you undo on the bottom, and then the whole top of this thing comes off, and only then can you get at what's inside of here. So it's not a very user-friendly when it comes to having to maintain things in there. It also has one known weakness, which is that when you pull this pipe out, it has a little micro switch in the bottom there that shuts the motor off automatically. And they're notorious for the micro switch breaking, and then the vacuum motor won't run at all. It's all because of a stupid little micro switch down inside there. And what I learned quickly to do with mine is I would just open it up, take that micro switch, jump across it, and then not have to worry about that micro switch breaking in the middle of a job, because they would tend to do that. Now, to get at the bag, you push this button here, and here's the bag, and out it comes, nice and easy. There's a filter at the bottom as well, and here's another micro switch right there. And the idea of that is that you would when you put the bag in, it closes the circuit so that you can operate the vacuum. Because what does happen occasionally is people who aren't familiar with the vacuum, maybe you've got a janitorial staff and they were able to close that, and the micro switch isn't working properly. The vacuum still works, and they close it up and start vacuuming, fill up the canister with dirt without a bag in place, and that's not an uncommon thing to happen. So anyway, is it a good vacuum? Yes, but you're going to pay more for this vacuum than this vacuum. At least on Amazon, this is like, I think I paid about $4.25 or $4.50 for this. That was Canadian, by the way. And these generally are more expensive, usually $100 or $200 more. So the Hoover Hush Tone is a better overall vacuum for sure. It definitely has more power. But these three are very similar vacuums. This is a better thought out vacuum. It has the ability to adjust the height up and down to get at the bag. Very simple, easy to remove the bag, clean and empty it out. There's a filter on the bottom you can clean. It's got a HEPA filter on the side. This has a HEPA filter, by the way, right there. There's 2 of them. Height adjustment, of course, and then to get at the hose, you notice the hose comes up the side and then into the back, and that comes off easy. That it comes off, just pops off of here. It'll pop off of there. This comes off. This comes apart. The where it goes in here, that just pops off. All easy to get at. It also has 2 power settings, high and low. That would be 2. And the brush roll, the plate, you just turn it over. I'll show you the bottom plate here. Of course, this is a smooth. Notice how it's smooth. It's also metal. So this will actually draw better out of the lower pile carpets. It'll pull the air up better. It also has well, the factory says it has 152 cubic feet per minute of airflow. And this is around about a little over 100, I think. So it's rated higher, as well as rated higher than that one. To get the bottom plate off, there's these 2 tabs. You just push them that way and that one over there, and then the plate just pops off, and you can pull the brush roll out. Very easy to maintain. And I guess this thing's heading on now for 2 years, and it's doing well. The other thing was I found that as these vacuums age, the plastic just starts to crack and fall apart. I've had that happen to me a few times where they just literally started to just fall apart. So far, that one has done pretty well. I've had a couple of issues, minor issues with that one, and I have replaced the brush roll once now because I used it a lot. And then the SIBO is a great vacuum. This is the fancier one with the automatic height adjustment. I wish now that I had got the manual one, because I find that when I'm using it, every time I stop and then turn it on again, it takes a few seconds for it to sort of figure out what the height is, and then away I go. I think it's a bit maddening. I didn't need to spend the extra money to get the adjustment. I thought it was kind of cool, and then I got it and I realized, oh, it's not so good. But anyway, this has the pipe, the edges, pops out of there, easy to do. To get at the bag, you just open that up and out it comes. Nice and easy. Oops. The brush roll, you push, there's a button on each side, and the side pops off, and the brush roll just comes out very easily. Easy to maintain, simpler than this one. So this is just the way the technology has improved. It's you can get into the, I believe there's a access at the back here. Oh no, it's at the bottom. Let me think of it. I'll show you. Yeah, there's a little hole there. You can reach in and clean out any clogs right there. So that's kind of handy. So it's and as I said, you can push this button right up here, and the side pops off, and the brush roll. Oh, look at that! It's a segmented brush roll too. I forgot about that. So that just pops back into place. Oops, I'm doing it wrong. That goes on there. And then on the other side, again with the button. That comes off. Brush roll pulls out. Nice and easy to clean it. Hello, Jesse James. And I gotta clean it, so I'll leave it out for now. And then you just put it back in place, and easy to get at. So that's a much, oh, it has a light too, which is nice. So anyway, that's the differences in these three vacuums. I do prefer that one. That one is, it's okay. It's a good vacuum. I'm not saying it doesn't. And if I was to get a SIBO again, I would not get the one with the automatic height adjustment. But the SIBO is a good vacuum. Hey, don't you take away my parts, you little monkey. That's not for you to chew on. He does that. What was I going to say? So this is, I think, a better vacuum overall. That would be a close second, and that would be a kind of a distant third, I guess you'd say. But anyway, that's what's going on with vacuums, and there are a couple other choices out there. Obviously, some guys like other vacuums, but these are probably the three top contenders, I think, now. But anyway, maybe that'll, if you're looking for a vacuum and considering what your options are, they'll give you some ideas. But of the three, this usually is going to be the most expensive one. Maybe that'll change, I don't know. But anyway, there you go. So hopefully that'll give you some ideas if you're looking for a vacuum. And anyway, thank you for watching, and have a good day.